evening. Welcome. This is the regular meeting of the Committee of the Whole, 20-17, held on Monday, September 14th at 6:30 p.m. Calling that meeting to order. The Longfellow, if you lead us in our national anthem.
Oh, Canada!
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Clark, are there any addendum and delegations this evening?
None this evening, Mr. Mayor.
At this time, I confirm a motion, or entertain a motion to confirm the agenda. Moved by Councillor Butters, seconded by Councillor Kenny. All those in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosures of interest? There being none indicated, ask the record show that. I call for a motion to adopt the regular meeting minutes of the Committee of the Whole 19-17 held on August 28, 2017. Moved by Councillor Bodner, seconded by Councillor Demery. All those in favor? Opposed? Move on to determination of those items requiring separate discussion. Any items, Councillor Bodner?
Item 3, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anything else? Councillor Kenny?
Item 2.
Thank you. Anyone else for any item? Mr. Elliott.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Item 1.
Item 1. This would appear to conclude those items requiring separate discussion. I entertain a motion to approve those items not requiring separate discussion. Moved by Councillor Demery, seconded by Councillor Kenny. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have no presentations this evening, but we do have a delegation from Maureen Shantz, past president of the Alzheimer's Society of Niagara, and it's regarding the 22nd annual coffee break campaign and updating us regarding Dementia in Niagara. Mrs. Shantz, could you come forward to the podium over here? And there is a little red button if you could push it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be back in Port Colborne, and I recognize the number of faces that are here. So, Mayor Maloney, members of the council, city staff, and members of the public, my name's Maureen Shantz, and I am the past president of the board of the directors of the Alzheimer's Society of Niagara Region, and thank you for this opportunity to appear before you this evening and to share information about our upcoming annual coffee break campaign, now in its 22nd year. So it was originally inspired by the Niagara Region chapter of the Alzheimer's Society, and the Coffee Break has since become the longest standing national annual fundraising event for Alzheimer's societies across Canada. Thousands of coffee breaks are held each year, and since its inception has raised more than $20 million to support the work of local Alzheimer's societies. National Coffee Break Day is Thursday, September 21st, which this year also coincides with World Alzheimer's Day. More than 10,000 coffee breaks are expected to take place across the country that day. In the Niagara region, our campaign will kick off that day with a flag raising and barbecue at the Niagara-on-the-Lake Town Hall in Virgil, hosted by this year's honorary chair, the Honorable Rob Nicholson, Member of Parliament for Niagara Falls. Dementia doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, regardless of background, education, lifestyle, or status. Dementia is also a health condition with important social implications that impacts our communities. There's often a lack of awareness and understanding of dementia, resulting in stigmatization and barriers to diagnosis and care. It's estimated that 564,000 Canadians are currently living with a dementia. In less than 15 years, that number will reach nearly 1 million people. Alzheimer's disease, already the 7th leading cause of death in Canada, will only continue to grow as a public health concern. The annual cost to care for those with dementia is currently estimated to be $10.4 billion. Mr. Nicholson proposed a private member's bill to establish a national dementia strategy as the solution to tackling the impact of dementia. We are really pleased to say his leadership and support has resulted in Bill C-233 becoming law on June 22nd. This private member's bill creates a Canadian Alzheimer's disease and dementia partnership, bringing together researchers, clinicians, healthcare providers, and private industry to work alongside Canadians living with dementia to develop and implement a national strategy. The overall impact of a national dementia strategy for Canada will be a better local management of dementia, resulting in improved quality of life and care. In the Niagara region, there are almost 10,000 people experience a progressive dementia, and the number of cases continues to grow. Last year, we saw almost 1,900 new referrals to our society, and at any given time, we have 750 families receiving service in our family support and intensive care programs. More impressively, we provided education to almost 11,000 participants from the general public and the healthcare field. A recognized leader in the field of dementia care, the Alzheimer's Society of Niagara Region's mission is to advocate for people with dementia and their care partners living in the Niagara region and provide access to a diverse range of appropriate resources and supports throughout their difficult journey that will assist them in remaining independent in their homes and in communities longer. We offer people living with dementia a welcoming place where they can access information and support, as well as connect with others who share a similar experience. By accessing education, personalized in-home support services, and wellness programs, families can better understand dementia, navigate the healthcare system, and assess the resources they need when they need them. To support a large variety of programs, the majority of which focus on those with early-stage dementia and are provided at no charge to individuals or their families, our society must fundraise for approximately $500,000 each year, and Coffee Break is our signature event. Coffee breaks provide an opportunity to invite your coworkers, clients, customers, friends, family, or neighbors to come together to enjoy a cup of coffee or other beverage, and then even treats at a break or another social get-together in exchange for making a donation and to support the work of your local Alzheimer's Society. Hosting a coffee break is fun, easy to organize, and a great social opportunity. Our society supplies a free kit while each host supplies the people on location. The kit includes coffee for that first pot, supplied locally by Barclay and Todd's, promotional signage and literature, as well as a donation box. While many of the Alzheimer coffee breaks in Canada will be held on the National Day, you can choose a date that's convenient for you. So since the Niagara campaign runs from September to December of this year. Coffee break events are held in homes, workplaces, community centers, schools, churches, city halls, retail outlets, just about anywhere you can imagine a social gathering can take place, or where coffee, other beverages, or food or goodies can be served and a donation collected. Some of the most successful events have been a result of doing something a little different. So whether it's a barbecue, open house, a raffle, dress down days, selling coffee cups or forget-me-not decals, or rounding up your bill at the cash register, no coffee break event is too big or too small, and each one makes a difference in the lives of those affected by dementia living here in Niagara region. Thanks to the Council and over 150 hosts, we raised more than $77,000 last year. This year, more than ever, we hope we can count on your support to reach our goal of $100,000. Organizing or taking part in a coffee break event in your community has the potential to raise awareness and encourage discussion about Alzheimer's disease and dementia. It not only makes all the society's accomplishments possible, but it ensures that individuals and their families, your loved ones, friends, and neighbors, know that they are not alone on their journey, on this journey. Consider hosting a coffee break event and make your coffee count. It's a fun and easy way to show your support for the Alzheimer's Society. Anyone can register for a free coffee break kit by calling the Alzheimer's Society of Niagara region at 905-687-3914, or by visiting the website, which is alzheimerniagara.ca. Thank you for your time this evening and your consideration in making a difference in your community today and making memories matter. Mayor Maloney, may I present you with your coffee break host kit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Shantz. Perhaps just a minute, are there any questions by council of Mrs. Shantz? Just a reminder, Mrs. Shantz was the longstanding executive director at our regional senior facility up at Port Colborne Hospital. And,
absolutely. 8 years there. Yeah. 8 great years.
Any questions of Mrs. Shantz? Irina, thank you very much. And we'll have 9 contributors anyways to the campaign.
Okay, thank you very much.
In Port Colborne. If I could just direct council to a brief mayor's report. The annual Terry Fox Run will be held next Sunday at Additional Lakeview Park. The head shave will begin on stage at 1:30 p.m. with the actual run, walk, drive, ride, whatever, starting at 2 p.m. and ending back at H.H. Knoll Park around 4 p.m. Come down to the park and to support the many people who will be participating in this event. Battle of Britain Parade, at approximately the same time, the Battle of Britain Parade will be held in Port Colborne in front of the City Hall here. The annual commemoration of the Battle of Britain honors the airmen who fought and died during the battle and recognizes those who continue to serve in the Canadian Air Force today. The ceremony includes the parade, takes place on the 3rd Sunday in September. More than 100 Canadians flew in the Battle of Britain between July and October 1940, and 23 lost their lives. An unknown number all served as ground crew. Historians have described the battle, which involved most of 3,000 Allied airmen, as a turning point of the Second World War. It was the first battle to be won by air power. The parade will commence at Catherine and Prentice Street at 1:30 p.m., follow south on Catherine and east on Charlotte, ending up again here in front of City Hall. A brief ceremony will be held, and the public is invited to attend. On your desk this evening, you'll notice a smiley little cookie. Tim Hortons is celebrating their Smiling Cookie fundraiser this week. As we see this cute little guy in front of me, that's a whole meal. know some of you have already imbibed, nibbled at it.
Some of us still have.
The Tim Hortons store on Main Street West and the West Side Road have chosen the City of Port Colborne Fire Department smoke alarm program as their beneficiaries where they event. All proceeds from the cookie sales will go to the program. We encourage you to enjoy a cookie all week at either of these two Tim Hortons facilities and show your support. Extreme weather events in the past couple of weeks have brought numerous extreme weather events across North America. Our thoughts go out to those who have been affected by these events. It is a reminder to all of us to ensure your family is prepared for any emergency. If you need some advice on an emergency kit, contact our fire department. I'm sure they'd be happy to set you up. And just finally, just acknowledge that this is the anniversary of 9/11, that catastrophe in New York City where so many folks lost their lives, including many Canadians. Perhaps we could have just a moment of silence to acknowledge the loss. Thank you very much. Moving on in the agenda, Councillor Barry was unable to be with us this evening as he has broken his foot and is unavoidably absent. At this time, I'd like to move on to any councillors' items, issues that individuals have with members of our staff. Is there anyone who has a comment? Councillor Kenny? Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Mr. Lee. I've had a request, Chris, for a sign on Woodside Drive, Woodside Drive in that area, a sign for an autistic child. As you're aware, Woodside Drive is the back side of Oakwood, and a lot of parents park there, and there's just a concern for this autistic child that, so I'm just kind of like cautioning them that he runs about and that. So if that could be done, that would be great. Thank you.
Mrs. Butters?
Is that okay? Is that, can you?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Kenny. Yes, we'll look at the inventory in stock. If we don't have a sign, we will make certain we get one up in very short order.
Thank you.
Mrs. Butters, then Mr. Mayor, you have, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question, and I'm not sure who can answer it, but it has to do with hunting and Canada geese. And apparently there's a good-sized field where a lot of them come down in the evening, and especially at this time of year, I mean, dozens and dozens and dozens will come down in the evening to rest before they go wherever they go the next day. And one of the residents, and she does have a farm with animals on that farm, is kind of concerned about the hunters near her. So I just wondered what kind of the rules, if someone can kind of enlighten me about what the rules are. I didn't even know people hunted Canada geese. I'm a gatherer, I'm not a hunter, so somebody can help me out with what's kind of allowed or not allowed, that would be great. Thank you.
Through Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Butters. The city does have a hunting bylaw that actually is it's a geographical area that you can hunt and you can't hunt. So if you could provide me that information, I could look into it.
Thank you, I will. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Maine?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Chris. See, we're looking through inventories for signs. I was at the Friends of 55 Club last week for a function, and I was approached by several people who live in the Portal Village area, and they were wondering whether we could put a four-way stop on the corner of Elgin and Steele. Doesn't have to be a traffic light, just a four-way stop. I sat out there on Saturday, which wasn't really a work day, but when people come off of Kalali Street and head south to the next set of lights, they're doing well in excess of 50 kilometers an hour. And some of these people, I think there's probably about 650 to 700 people live in that area, and it's only one way out, and they find it very difficult to pull out safely onto Steele Street. And I was wondering whether we could have a look at that, if it's possible.
This is an issue near and dear to Mrs. Kenny's heart. She's brought it forward before. Mr.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councilor Main. I know there's been a great deal of discussion on that particular intersection over the last few years. I will pull out the documentation and the studies with that, and I'll have a discussion with my staff and bring forward some thoughts and ideas and some costing on some of the options that are available to us. Four-way, the traffic signals, whatever. We can look at that again and see what the current situation is.
Thank you. If you could do that, I'd appreciate it.
I believe there is a seniors crossing sign there now, currently, but not a stop sign.
It's a warning that there's seniors in the area.
Yes.
It's not so much a cross, it's to warn people that are coming that there are seniors hanging around down there and could get dangerous. So.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Mead. Councilor Kenny?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to add to that, Chris. Every time I've asked for it, I've asked for a light, but actually I would support a four-way stop, or I guess it's a three-way stop, because the other, there's only one way out of that one between the high school. So I would support a stop sign. I think it's a good thing. It's stop and go, you know, you stop, you look, if there's nobody, you're ahead. It's not like it's going to interfere in the flow of traffic. I don't think any more studies have to be done on that. I know the cost was not suitable to have a light, but certainly I would support a four-way stop there. Thank you. Three-way.
It's also very difficult to proceed out of that intersection.
It is very difficult. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Bench?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I guess I'm going to send this one to Chris. Coming into Port Colborne, you're heading by McDonald's there, and you're going to head east, and the world's longest light, the advanced green goes off whether anybody's at it or not. I've kind of been monitoring it myself there the last little while, and say you're coming into town, you're going to go straight through the intersection, but that advanced green always goes on. It doesn't matter. So maybe the MTOs can look at it and see if I thought it went off by something on the roadway like they normally do, but it goes every time. So if you could look into it for me, please. Thank you.
Any comment, Mr. Lee?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councilor Dench. Yes, we can touch base with the MTO. As you are correct, that is their traffic signal, and they control literally the timing events on that. So we can have them have a second look at it and just verify that it meets the traffic conditions that are currently there.
Are there any other items? Mr. Bodner?
One more through you, Mr. Mayor, to Chris, I guess. Empire Road, just before Maple View Crescent, the side is deteriorating so that it's kind of a big pothole in the pavement. It's not exactly on the road, but it is on the side where it is paved. And what it does, because there's lots of bikes on that road going up to our trail out of Shirks and Shores, makes the people at the last minute swerve kind of out into the road because they can't go over this pothole. And there's actually, that one's the worst, but there is 2 or 3 other ones on that side of the road. So if you can just have someone take a look at that, please. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councilor Bodner. By all means, we'll have Road Patrol have a look at that tomorrow, and that being the case, we'll try and undertake some repairs as necessary to get us to a safe condition.
Thank you. Any other issues on my left? Last chance for individuals on my right. Just a matter of interest, I guess, Mr. Aquilina, I noticed in the paper this morning there had been a women's surfboarding event, a sailboarding event at Pleasant Beach. Were there any complaints of any consequence registered with your department?
Mr. Mayor, not that I'm aware of, but I can check tomorrow. It was nothing brought to my attention, but certainly I could look into it and get back to you tomorrow.
Perhaps our efforts have been successful in eliminating that problem. Are there any responses to, oh, Mrs. Butters has something to comment.
I almost forgot, and then Councillor Bodner's comment on up on Empire and Mapleview reminded me I'd sent an email in about just like this little dinky piece of Snyder Road that runs off Clawley Street East, and it's got like this big, I don't even want to call it a pothole because it's so big you could bury a cow in it. There's only one house on that little piece of Snyder, but it's gotten so much worse over the period of time because really nothing has been done to remedy it. So now it's like below the level of, I don't even know if there's any pavement left there to even do anything, but I was wondering if you have the roads crew out, could you swing them by that way and see what could be done? Because, you know, once the water comes and it freezes, and that's kind of the cycle that happens, right? It fills with water, it freezes, it makes more damage, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the road it's disappearing. So if we could have a look at that too, that would be awesome.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, what I would do is we'll get staff to probably scarify and fix the area for granular this year and take away the potholes.
Great.
And then put some funds in the 2018 budget to resurface that area.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you. Are there any items the members of staff you have in response to the previous councillor items? There being none, on to consideration items requiring separate discussion. And I would ask with respect to item number 2 regarding sale of lands to the district school board of Niagara. Is there anyone here on that issue that may want to speak? There are none, so then we will proceed with item number 1.
I pull one. Somebody pull two. Yeah.
I just asked if there's anybody here.
So we're doing item 1, right? Yep. Okay. Planning Development, Economic Development Division Report number 2017-145, subject recommended consultant for the completion of the Port Colborne Economic Development Strategy Action Plan.
Is there a seconder for that recommendation? Mr. Bodner? Discussion? Mr. Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will mildly support it. I guess I took a look at the other consultants that had put in their applications. All come in under the price that we had budgeted for. MDB had done our MDB Insight, had completed our last Economic Development Strategic Plan 2010 to 2014. And I'm not sure that anything that was contained in that report was actually acted on and implemented. They also did the Arts and Culture Strategic Plan that was recently completed. I'm not sure that that I was in full support of that report. My main reason to pull it is I will support this, but I would ask that we direct them to completely start from scratch again. The 2010-2014 report that they did, development plan, I don't think was acted on. So I'd really like to see them start from square one. There were some items that were contained in the Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan that I don't think I would like to see contained in this report. So I would just like to say that I think it's later. It's 3 years after the expiry of the last economic development strategy. I think we, after listening to the consultants tonight in our discussions earlier, that maybe economic development is looking at something different. So when we go forward with this, I think we have to take a look at what the city of Port Colborne needs to be different what we want economic development to really compromise or comprise and entail, and set them on the right course that leads us to a new and improved and something that we can use economic development strategy. So I will support this, but I'd like to see something that's a made-in-port solution.
Thank you. Any other comments or recommendations? There being none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried unanimously. Item number 2. Again, Mrs. Kennedy, you hold that one.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. The purpose of this report is to obtain approval regarding the closure and conveyance of lands to the District School Board of Niagara.
Is there a seconder for that recommendation? Councilor Maine? Discussion. Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you, Your Worship. If I could go through you to Mr. Aquilina. The reason I am wondering about this, and maybe I should be asking Community Services, Mr. Sinez, is this is just a one-block street anyway, and it's closed off. I know the 2 people at the very end closest to the back fence of the school are elderly people. And I just wondered if anybody spoke to them. Like, you know, I know when I first got on council, they were always asking me if we could send somebody to cut their bushes along the fence. But I'm just wondering what purpose this would be, I guess, to give it to the school board. Like, I'm kind of wondering what purpose it serves, I guess. Thank you.
Through Mr. Mayor to Councillor Kennedy, I had no involvement with this report, so it's best answered by Mr. Sinez.
Through Mr. Mayor to Councillor Kennedy, this is an item that was brought forward just through the school board's solicitor. It was back when the original properties were conveyed and purchased by the school board. It was a small portion that was missed in the conveyance, and therefore it's just basically a cleanup item to ensure that that the use of the property is being used by McKay School, and that it is in their ownership. So it's just an administrative. It's a cleanup item from when the original property was closed up and conveyed to the school board.
Thank you. So the fence that's there now is not being moved or anything?
No.
Okay. Thank you. That'll alleviate. Okay.
Any other comments or discussion? There being none, call for the recommendation. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item number 3, Mr. Bonner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Community and Corporate Services, Community Services Division, report number 2017-146, subject Ray Juice TV show Fishing for Walleye taping proposal, October 2nd to the 6th.
Go ahead, Mr. Bonner.
Mr. Mayor, I just wonder through you to the CAO or whoever could answer this, can they just give us a little background on this and what actually might be happening here for this?
Sure, through your worship to Councillor Bodner, it'd be my pleasure. This report was written by our event coordinator, who unfortunately is not here tonight, but we had discussed it at length beforehand, and I think I'm prepared to answer questions and speak to it just in general terms. We are very excited about this, and not to take a short answer into too long of an answer, but I'll start at the beginning. One of the events that was new this year that the event coordinator worked on was the Berkeley B1 fishing tournament in August, and we tried to do, as a city, a lot of leveraging of that event into increasing the profile of the city as a fishing destination. So the idea was that, we had the fishing tournament here, and we had the pro fishermen who came, and we hopefully sold them some coffee and gas for their boats and parts for their boats if they needed them. But we really wanted to promote to the public both here and away, that Port Colborne is a place that anyone can fish. The pro fishermen come down here because it's a great, amazing place to fish all through the year. Ice fishing, walleye, bass, perch, all through the different seasons of the year. And if it's good enough for the pros, it's good enough for just about everyone. So we're trying to increase the city's profile as a fishing destination, building on those tournaments like that in the 444, building on the designation as the WFN Ultimate Fishing Town that we received. So, and the reason I reference Berkeley B1 is because this is a fishing show, a French language fishing show that is being filmed, proposed to be filmed for the first time in Ontario, in Port Colborne, and will continue to increase our efforts in that direction of increasing the city's fishery as a place that should be visited. And we're reaching a new target audience here, which is in Quebec, where this show is broadcast. It's the host, the fisherman who's on the air, is the organizer of the B1 fishing tournament, Ben Wu, and it'll be the first time that they have 3 professional tournament anglers co-hosting the same episode. So first time in Ontario, first time with 3 pros on board. We think the traction that we get as a fishing destination, as a tourism destination, it's almost like a snowball. It's growing and growing. We had the event. The event is going, the Berkeley B1 event. That's what got us this opportunity, and it's able to build on that. I love the fact that it's bilingual. Staff is very excited about the fact that it's French, and it's something that we haven't had before, and we haven't had that French language focus on our fishing tournament, and generally just the chance to show a different segment that Port Colborne's an amazing place to fish. And like I said, good enough for the pros, good enough for the amateurs too.
Yes, Mr. Rodner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm really happy to hear that. You know, I was happy that council spent some money on the Berkeley B1, but it really was an investment, right? You know, we could never buy that kind of exposure. Now, here's a spin-off from it. We got the tourism partnership of Niagara involved, tapped into some money from them, and that's exactly what they're looking for is exposure outside of the normal channels for the Niagara region. I think we've done that in spades. And I think you're right, CAO, that, it's a snowball effect. You do a good job on one, you get something else, and then who knows what this will spin off. And it's really part of economic development. So it's, I think it's a big deal. So congrats to everybody that was involved in that. Thank you.
Speakers to my right, Councillor Desmarais.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would agree with everything Councillor Wagner just said. I'm really pleased with us moving forward in this way. The $2,500 sponsorship from the city, I'm assuming that would be the waiving of fees and any of the staff time. Is that what that is, or is it $2,500 on top of that?
So through your worship to Councillor Desmarais, there is a contribution of $2,500 in cash, but it is a sponsorship. And it does get reflected in the broadcast. That is, like it'll show on TV that we made that contribution and that we're a partner in the production of the program.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad that we're moving forward with it. I just wanted to clarify that. And I'm hoping that we'll take this a step further and possibly make some fishing areas that people can use by land, or maybe put a walkway on top of the berm that goes around the marina so that people can fish off of that or walk along those things. Because seriously, not everybody can buy a boat, and a lot of people want to visit Port Colborne and do the various things that we can do here.
Councillor Kennedy, did you have your hand up? Were you the seconder for the recommendation, Councillor Kennedy, or was it Councillor Butters? Councillor Butters, do you have a comment? You're good? Councillor Doucette?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Just a little bit of information, by the way. Walleye in French is doré, and that fish in Quebec, you're limited in what you can keep. It has to be a fairly medium-sized fish. Anything big, you have to throw back in. Anything small, you have to throw back in. here in Ontario, and I believe that's where they're going to go to when they start talking about it, whatever you catch, you can keep. And that's not the same idea, and that will definitely attract people that are, and there's a lot of fishing maniacs back there, just like there are in Ontario, and this will bring them in as definitely as a tourist area. So it's just the beginning of something, and I think that's what he spotted, and that's why he wants to do this here in Port Colborne, because it's, you can catch some of the biggest walleye just offshore here. So just a little bit of information. As a matter of fact, we had a cousin who went fishing and caught a nice one, about 10 pounds, had to throw it back in. Okay, they had paid and everything else, and they went to a fishing lodge in Quebec and had to throw it back in because it was too big. Okay, so just a little bit of information.
A recommendation moved by Councillor Bodnar, seconded by Councillor Butters. Call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That would conclude the items requiring separate discussion. Are there any notices of motion this evening? There be none, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Bodnar, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All those in favor? Carried. Meeting is adjourned. We'll move on to the regular meeting of Council 27-17, held on Monday, September 11th, today, and following the Committee of the Whole meeting. Call this meeting to order. Are there any addendum items, Mr. Clerk?
There are none this evening, Mr. Mayor.
I entertain a motion to confirm the agenda. Moved by Councillor Main, seconded by Councillor Kenny. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any disclosures of interest this evening? There being none, that shall be so indicated. Call for the adoption of minutes of the regular meeting of Council 25-17 held on August 28th of 2017. And a mover for that motion? Moved by Councillor Demray, seconded by Councillor Kenny. Any discussion? Being none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Approval of items not, determination of items requiring separate discussion. There being none, I'd call for a motion to approve those items not requiring separate discussion. All those in favor?
Moved by Barb.
Moved by Barb. Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Who said that again?
Kenny.
Councilor Kenny, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any proclamations this evening, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, you have two, Mr. Mayor. The Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day, October 15th, 2017, and Waste Reduction Week in Canada, October 16th to the 22nd, 2017.
Thank you. Are we in favor in supporting and setting forth those proclamations?
I'll move that.
Councillor Butters, seconded by Councillor Demray. All those in favor? Can I see the hands again, please? Carries. Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees. The minutes of the Grant Policy Committee meeting of February 14th, 2017. Call for a motion to accept those minutes. Moved by Councillor Dent, seconded by Councillor Doucette. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any bylaws, Mr. Clerk? If you could read them for us, and we'll.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We have four bylaws for readings tonight. Bylaw number 6513-8017, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a loan agreement with the Niagara Central Dorothy Rungling Airport Commission, and to repeal bylaw 6424-104-16. Bylaw 6514-8117, being a bylaw to authorize entering into an agreement with MDB Insight regarding the completion of Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan. Bylaw number 6515-8217, being a bylaw to stop up, close, and convey certain lands to the District School Board of Niagara. and bylaw number 6516, 8317 being a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporated City of Port Colborne at its special and regular meetings of September 11th, 2017.
Thank you. Call for a motion to support. Moved by Councillor Bodnar, seconded by Councillor Elliott. Seconder? Oh, it's already done. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We wish to go into closed session. We continue with the meeting that we recessed from, and we wish to proceed in a closed session in order to address the following items. Chief Administrative Officer Report number 2017-147 regarding a corporate organization review pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, subsection 2392B, personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and subsection 2D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Further, would be Chief Administrative Officer's Report number 2017-148 regarding the potential sale of city-owned land pursuant to Municipal Act 2001, subsection 2392C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. And I believe we do not have to make reference to the sale of lands to the school board. We already dealt with that. Sure. Okay. So I will entertain this motion to go into closed session. Yeah, I think you could. Mr. Bodnar has disclosed his interest in the motion regarding the sale of lands to an individual.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll declare a conflict with A on this agenda, which is Chief Administrative Officer's Report number 2017-148, and I won't be in the room when this is discussed.
Okay. Motion to go into closed session. Moved by Councillor Butters, second by Councillor Main. All those in favor? Carried.